We are in the season of what I like to call the season of new beginnings. I say that because this is around the time that people are graduating, people are inspired, people are motivated to step into their newness and their new lives and journeys with their careers. But this is not only for those who are seeking to get into a career, who just may have graduated. This can even be for someone who wants to have a new, reset on their career or a new job or transition out of their old job to a new job or different opportunities. Also, you can use this for relationship wise as well. Some of the pinpoints that I'm going to hit on that may help you through this journey. I've been through it, and I currently have a younger sister who just graduated with her dream career. And we was having this talk this morning, which inspired me to make this video in the first place. I may have, looked down time to time because I did take notes, and I do got some things that I want to tie into here. But my whole big point that I was letting my sister know, and that I want you all to know, is that while you're on this journey of, putting in applications, going on interviews, and trying to figure out where you want to go, always seek the Lord before you go on any interview, before you apply to any application. Don't distrust yourself. Don't distrust what the application may be or the money or the pay may be, because that can deceive us. That can have you ended up in a place or position where you don't want to be. And during this season, because I've been through this as well, you may get weary. You may start to question yourself, or it makes you impatient. You start to get impatient because, we all need to live. We need to, have money so we can pay our bills, take care of our family, our kids, prosper, climb the ladder, whatever your goal may be, or whatever we may need as necessities in life. Yes, I do get it. So it could make you very wary or frantic, especially when you're not getting the results that you feel that you deserve or that you worked hard for in the time frame that you feel is best. But try to remember, our time frame is not about our time frame. It's about the Lord's. And it may sound like, oh yeah, I hear you. But hear me out. When we operate off of our own time frame, that's when we start to get into things that He didn't want for us. That's when we start to get into things that, or into places, or with even people, even with people, relationship wise, we start to get impatient. So then when you start to get impatient, what does that cause us to do? Eventually, that's going to cause you to get desperate. So then you're going to start applying for any and everywhere that's kind of in the career spectrum of what your degree may be, or what you want to seek or go to, or even, let's say, relationship wise. It makes you start to pick up that phone call or go on them dates with those individuals that you have no business going out with, or that cause you nothing but pain, or that's chaos. It will cause you to be desperate. It will start to cause you to take a pay cut, or, take a job that's way less more than that you're worth, or in a department that that you studied for that you shouldn't be in. It's another department, it's another department that you studied for and worked hard for that you should be in, but instead you're just going to, take this department because this is the one that's asking for you, or that looks more promising and things like that. No, sometimes we need to just sit still. We need to just sit still and focus on God and block out what's around us. Block out what is making us worry. Block out what's making us feel like this is not looking promising. I've been waiting, Lord, and also block out people that kind of is forcing you to try to make these type of decisions based off weariness, time frame ticking, that got you feeling anxious. Like you got some people over there questioning, like, didn't you just graduate, months from now? Like, let's just talk about, months from now. And you got family members questioning you, like, you still didn't land a job, you this and the third, or put in their 2 cents, or telling you what you should and shouldn't do. You know what this remind me of? Because this will come about as time keep going on, and let's say you haven't landed a job just yet, or the job that is best for you, or that you went to school for. This remind me the story of Job. It's one section in there where he was going through I will call it, he was going through the trials and tribulations of God testing him, right? And speaking of, this could be God testing you too, to see if you're going to be obedient to what he's telling you to do, which is just wait on him, or to be patient, or if he's telling you to, hey, don't choose that job, choose this one. Because sometimes it may not even be the one that you wanted, but he needs you to be at, and you got confirmation of this, and you just don't want to do it. But this reminds me of Job was going through what he did not want to go through. It didn't feel good. He was getting tormented. He had boils. He was physically going through it, mentally, rejection, people coming at him in the city and, where he's from, and this, that, and the third, because how he started to look, and he's losing everything. Nothing's looking promising. He lost his kids, his business, everything, right? And then to put the cherry on top, his wife come, right? And this is the man of God, real faithful to God. And his wife come, and she says, and I'm going to reference off of from the book King James. This is Job 2, 9 through 10 verse. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. So I say that because as his wife tried to come along, she was seeing things from her lenses, right? Remember when it says in the Bible, don't trust our understanding, because how we understand is not the way that God understands. The way he's set up is not the way we're set up. Always remember that. When I'm getting tested, when things is looking real worried, I always remember, before I try to make some irrational decisions or try to take things into matter of my own hands, I always try to remember to myself, my understanding is not the same as God's. God's know what is best, because there's plenty of times in the past, and then I think about my past, because there's plenty of times in my past where I took it upon myself to make a decision. Like, God, you sit over here, I got it from here. And I know each time where that landed me. Even if it wasn't a devastated situation, it may have been one where it's like, it wasn't the best. It's not the best. If I can go back, I'd probably do things a little bit differently, went somewhere else, or just actually pretty much just wait on the Lord, and I'm pretty sure y'all have stories like that as well. But also, I brought up that scripture because you're going to have people in your ear. You're going to have people giving you their 2 cents and telling you what you should do, or pretty much disobey God. Okay, because that's what Job's wife was on. She was on some type of like, look at what he's put you through. Look what happened to us. And this is, and I need you to hurry up and get a job. I need you to hurry up and do this. I need you to pay these. Yeah. But remember to wait on the Lord and stay faithful to him. You don't curse God. You don't just turn around and say, because in my head, my Bible may not say this, but in my head, you kind of coming for God when you're on some, Lord, you got me waiting too long. I got things I need to do, so I'm going to do it my way, or I'm going to go ahead and do it. You just picked a side. Realize that. So, but with me saying that, what is it that will cause us to not be in fear, to not operate off of insecurity of not getting the job, or getting those denial applications and being told no? So what will, and impatientness and fear, I was thinking, like, what can prevent us, right? And it's to have faith. This is when your faith is very tested, and it's not always the enemy. Sometimes it is God. He want to see who's his faithful servants, who's his children, who stands with him, because the more faith you have is how God is going to work in your life. And that's a fact. He can't operate off of fear. He can't operate off of you worrying and one foot in, one foot out. No, you need to literally be planted. And then I was thinking to myself, well, say if during this journey, right, you get weary, things ain't looking promising, your faith will start to get tested and start to, crumble a little bit. That's okay. But I do have a list real quick, and it's six, things on this list where I feel like it will be helpful to indulge in to restore your faith. That will help you restore your faith. Okay. And I'm going to read from it here real quickly. So number 1, you can start out by asking God to restore your faith. That's first and foremost. Take it to God. Ask him, hey, help my wavering heart, my faith, Lord, like, and be very transparent with him, be upfront with him, because that's how he wanted. He wanted raw, cut. He don't need you pretending or punk faking, none of that. Come to him real, how you feel and what's going on with your situation, and that you're lacking in these areas. So you need help with your faith and and also with trusting in him of what he's got planned for your life and the purpose he has for your life. And also that he has you to end up where he needs you to be. That's going to help with his kingdom and not solely all about you and the pay. Okay. Because that's honestly what this life is all about, is giving back to the Lord, his children, the kingdom, so, and being obedient. So ask God to restore it. That's number one. Number two, prayer. Pray on it. Kind of like what I was just saying in number one. Make sure you pray to the Lord, because prayer changes things. It really do. It's very strong. And I don't mean just like, oh, once a blue moon or where you're feeling worried. No, do it consistently, daily. Pray to the Lord. Okay. 3, fasting. You can fast so you can, have clarity of what he's trying to say to you. If you're feeling like you can't hear him, this helps you draw close to him. This kind of eliminate distractions by fasting. Number 4, read your word. Read your word, because when I read my word, I find hidden gems. I find things, the Lord speaking to me through the words of things that I'm actually going through. Also, it would help you to understand who God is, how he operates, and so you can hear him and understand him. So let's see. In number 5, watch testimonies regarding what you want. Say if it is a relationship, say if it's in a transition from one job to another, or if you just graduated and you're trying to step into your career. Look up testimonies online of these things that people been obedient to the Lord and that he's came through for them, because that do restore our faith. Sometimes we do need to hear others' testimonies and what they've gone through and what God delivered them from, so we can have a reminder. And there's nothing wrong with having a reminder of who God is through other people. That's what we're here for, is to pour back into one another. And number 6, thank God as if he's already did it. Always, and I mean this daily, and I mean this with all of my heart. I'm so serious. Thank God as if he's already did it, and have joy in your heart, even when things is like you're getting so many denial letters, so many applications, not even getting callbacks. Thank him for where you're going to be. Thank him for what he's going to do in the position and job or person that he brings into your life. Thank him as if it's already done. Be joyful. Okay. And, because that will help you just have that connection and bond with God, because a lot of times when the situation is not looking promising, it can draw us away from him. But this will help us stay close to him and to know that he's a faithful God, and that he takes care of his children. He really does. You don't have to be perfect, but as long as you're trying and you keep focusing on him and you keep bringing the situation to him, he's going to move. He's going to move. You just got to make sure you can hear him and you're in the place to receive what he's doing and why he's doing it. So some of these steps will help you. And I hope, whoever's watching this, you do take it to your advantage and use some of them, if not all, just some. But also, when I said faith, right, when I talked about faith, this is a story I wanted to bring up in the Bible. And this was about Abraham. Is in Genesis 22, where God came to Abraham and asked him to sacrifice his only son, right? And the reason why Abraham even went through it is because he knew God is a trusting God. He's a faithful God. And whatever it is that God needed out of that situation of sacrificing or giving Isaac to him in that way and in that manner, he didn't try to break it down. He didn't try to spend so much time focusing on it or about it. He just did what God told him to do, being obedient. And being obedient led Abraham into having so many blessings upon not just him, but his nation and the children, of Abraham and everything like that. So it's like, it didn't just pay off for him, but it blessed many others too. So sometimes when you sit back and you be obedient, you do what the Lord told you to do and you wait on him, you're not only blessing you, but the blessings will stumble upon other people too. So it's not always just about you, the decision that we make. So I'm going to read this passage once again, King James Version, Genesis 22. This is verse 10 through 12. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. See, I did stumble across some of that passage there, so my apologies there, but pretty much that's just like the part where, you know, right before he was going to do it, God wanted to test to see if he was faithful. God wanted to test to see if he was worthy enough, like, you know, really with him or not. Because the fact that he showed he was, now he know that everything he's about to give Abraham is going to be, well, given to the right person. And that so just, yeah, I don't know. It's just like that really popped in my mind when I was just coming up with this word today and trying to give back to some people that, you know, is going to go through this. I'm sorry, but it's a lot of us, y'all, that are going to go through this during this season. This is that season of transition, is the season of change and renewal and new opportunities. So, but yeah, that was really powerful to me. But then also, I'm going to take you to verse 15 to 18, which is also in Genesis 22. It says, And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thee seed as the stars of the heaven and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. See, and that's when I was talking about where, because of being obedient and trusting in God by Abraham, you know, and his actions, it blessed the nation, not just him. But also it gave him protection from his enemies as well. Like, he promised him that. So who's to say that that's not the same what God is doing to you in this time? See, that's why I'm saying faith is very important in your relationship with God and knowing what he's going to do and that he's a faithful God, because he could be testing you too. But also, even let's say if God's not purposely testing you, this is a test. It is. Because either you're going to sit back and you're going to let God do his thing and leave it at his feet. And mind you, you may have to leave it at his feet every day. Okay. You may wake up worried every day, and that's fine, as long as you keep bringing it to his feet at the cross. Okay. Don't go to your neighbor. Don't go to your homegirl. Don't go to your spouse. Don't go to your da-da-da. Like, they can say what they want to say, and that's cool. Or you can get insight from them. That's fine. But don't act upon it. Just like Job, his wife had all that things to say. Mind you, it's his wife, so he respected her, let her say what she said. But then also in response, he let her know that you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because God ain't doing it right then and now or how we want it, don't mean we get to curse him, or that he's not faithful, or that he's not who he was yesterday, today. So remember that. That's the word for somebody. I hope this really helps. Someone that's in transition in their life, of new opportunities. They want new growth, or they want a relationship. This applies to men, women, young, older, who graduated from college or even high school. By the way, I do want to say congratulations. You may feel like you deserve this and you put in the hard work. So I deserve, or I need, and I want, and all that. But just remember, stay humbled, and it's up to God of where he's going to plant you. Okay. But because sometimes we can get carried away, and, you know, and I do understand the fact of going to school, because when I went to school for tech and I put in that hard work, that was hard. Okay. That was hard, and I did it. So, but it's funny because my story was, actually, I wasn't going to add my story into here because I didn't want to make it too long, but, So my story was, I was working in healthcare. I was working in an emergency room for 4.5 years. And then COVID hit, right? So COVID hit. It was a bad situation. Everybody was quitting. Everybody was just going at each other. We was low staffed. And then mind you, this is the ER. So a lot of people was coming in. So it was a lot. Everything was out of structure. People was very depressed, sad, threatening their own lives. Some actually did chose to end their lives, like in EMS and some nurses, even doctors. It was a lot. It very was a lot on the mental and everything. And then also got sick. My child got sick. It was, with the COVID and everything. So everybody was just like, we wasn't a unit anymore. Everybody was at each other's. Then they was finding out how much pay they was getting paid. Some was getting paid more than others. And then it was a fight. It was bad. So then I did have a situation with a young lady that decided, for whatever, I don't know, everybody was on edge. So I forgive this young lady at this point, but she disrespected me. And then, some people sided with some people and she looked at a certain way. So then they try to get me in trouble. And luckily, by the grace of God, people came forward to talk about other reports of this young lady and how, no, I didn't do what they were saying and this and the third, but it just didn't feel good to be convicted. It didn't feel good to have I've been there all them years, never got in trouble, never got into it with anybody, held my composure. So to have my image and character to be slain like that, and I had to keep showing up, and then they were making stories like, oh, security removed her, this and the third, and that never happened. But word travel, and that's how it is in healthcare sometimes, with the gossiping and stuff like that. But I remember God led me through that. When you go back up into work, don't try to, he told me don't defend myself, just stay focused on me. And this was the time where I was backsliding. I wasn't even full all in with the Lord, but I was very leaning on the Lord about this, right? So, but during this whole time, I was already in school for tech because I knew I wanted to do something else in my life career-wise. So at the end, so around 2022, I haven't graduated yet. And I remember this was all going on. I'm still seeking HR to see what's going to happen. Nothing ended up happening to me. So they did their investigation. Nothing happened to me because I was not in fault. The young lady, come to find out, she did get some discipline actions because I wasn't the only one that she assaulted. But that is what it is. And I didn't even want nothing bad to happen to her when they asked me, what do you think should be done? I mean, hey, restore. I mean, I don't know. People was just mad. They was going through a hard time, their families, and they were stressed. Not making an excuse for her or even I or whomever. It's just that, we do need to give forgiveness to everybody. But anyways, so I just wanted to leave though. I remember I wanted to leave, but I remember God was like, it's not time. I need you to return. I need you to go back to the hospital and just keep doing your work and be faithful. Just keep doing your work and be faithful. I need you here. I need you to get what I need you to get out of here before I can send you on to where I need you to go. So I'm like, what I need to get out of this? What? This is bad. But I kept doing what he said. And out of that, I did get that you let God do your battle. You let God face when people are coming at you, your character. You don't need to open your mouth. Silence is everything sometimes. And I really leaned on God to let him do his thing. And he very did his thing. I didn't have to do nothing. So it just showed me how to have trust in the Lord, right? And because I did that, I know I was rewarded. Because before it was my time up and God gave me the permission to do so, I then found another job at another healthcare unit, thinking I needed to be in healthcare. It paid more money, less people. It was a small practice. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is bomb. They wanted me and everything. And I remember God was like, this ain't it. My whole family looking at me like, what are you doing? You need to get out of there. This is a good opportunity. What are you doing? Coming at me. And I just was like, no, I had to call the lady back, tell her, no, thank you. She was like, oh, goodness. Well, I'm going to keep you on my list. So if you change your mind, because me and her already talked over the phone and everything like that, did one, it was like a phone, but not a phone interview. But when she called me to set up the interview, she, got to talk to me a little bit and everything, wanted to chat and really liked me and also liked my resume. So I had to call her back, let her know that I couldn't take it. She was understanding, put me on the list for if you ever want to or need a favor, just contact me, this, that, and the third. I kept going back to the hospital. And remember God put it on my heart to finally like, okay, you can go look. But when I looked, it was for tech. It was for tech jobs. I'm like, I didn't even graduate yet. But then it was like, either you're going to trust me or you're not. Like, you're going to trust me or you're not. What's up? You know what I mean? So, and I trusted the Lord. I was like, you know what? Whatever for me is for me because he said it's for me. And I don't need to look at credentials or certain things, and feel like I'm less than or can't do, you know? So I did. I applied it for some tech jobs, just like I think it was like 2 or 3. I remember I prayed on like which one because I got an interview with all of them. And I remember he showed me which one. And I said, Lord, give me a sign of 3, whichever one, right? Because I was getting really a sign of this one. And I'm like, Lord, if this is the one, show me 3 signs. Tell me why I've never saw this company before, ever, never heard of them, right? And it's an internet provider company out here in the Midwest. I saw 2 trucks on the highway of this company. And I'm like, I've never. And then it was another sign that he showed me too, where I knew it was him. I applied. When I tell you, I was having issues with childcare with my family and stuff and watching my child while I went to work for these long hours at the hospital. When I tell you, I was able to have childcare secured. I was able to get the pay that I wanted. And I wasn't even qualified yet because I didn't even have my degree yet. And to be in that tech position, I needed a degree. And I had none of that. Like I never even had tech experience. And they took me and I'm still here to this day, years later. So gotta trust in the Lord. You gotta trust in the Lord and you gotta be patient. And where you at may not feel good. It may be uncomfortable, but he's trying to teach you something and show you something before he can get you to the next place. Because I knew if I would have left the hospital when I wanted to leave, I wouldn't have got like the whole knowledge of trusting him, the whole knowledge of being silent and letting him fight your battles, which I needed to have in order to become what I needed to become to sustain where I'm at now and get the job that I got now. Because now I go to him about everything and I wait on him, or I'm going to start to feel really off if I don't. And also I know when I'm starting to get ahead of myself and I'm making it about my decisions and not his. So then I'll just drop everything and just focus back on Lord and keep praying to him. Didn't want to make this too long, but I hope this helps somebody, even if it's just one person. But you all have a good season. Be safe, trust in the Lord, and know where he is going to plant you is best for you and his kingdom. Have faith. Stay blessed.